The Wild exhibition at Manchester Museum is the first one that we've created for our new exhibition hall. It is meant to understand people's relationship with nature. Our aims for the interactive and working with Fast Familiar was to create something that engaged visitors and gave them a moment to think about their own preferences and where they were.
The team behind the World Exhibition had worked with this thing called the Nature Futures Framework. It's a way of looking at what our relationship with the natural world is. There are three perspectives within the framework: nature for nature, nature for society, and there's nature as culture.
Behind Wild Interactive are a series of beautiful interconnected quizzes and visualizations. We use data and we collect it throughout this series of questions that people are asked during the quiz, and we create these beautiful spiderweb diagrams.
And then they have the option to print that, and then they also see it projected on the wall above where the screens are.
With the take home, there's a QR code at the bottom which they can scan. This takes you to Manchester Museum's website and allows you to see your web, but also the average web. Now, this average web is live updated and continuously improves as we collect more data, but it allows you to compare what your views were compared to the average museum exhibition goer.
A lot of exhibitions just leave you with a last thought, but for one that was so integrated with the changes we need to make a better future is where's that moment for the visitor to understand themselves.
My favourite part about doing the quiz, having it explain like what the different kind of angles were, that was really good. Those questions kind of make me think a little bit. It's not typically things I would think about, I guess, living in an urban city.
I think I have always just thought like, oh, we need more nature for nature, but it actually made me realise that maybe I think it's important for like people a bit more than nature, which I don't know if that's good or not.
I think what we really love at Fast Familiar is that sort of deep dive into content, research, and bringing it all back to be something that people engage with, and simultaneously finding a tech solution which will present that to people in a way that they can make sense of themselves.
What was so interesting was how data-driven our lives are, but also how you can use that to tell really meaningful stories that can lead to really great social action.
With data sets like this, you really want as many data points as possible to try and understand how people are feeling. So far, we have had 22,000 respondents, and if you times that by 12, you'll get the amount of data points we get, but I can't do that. So it's a large number.
It was really important that we think about what could this do for our future programming, as well as what this does for the visitor to create a really personalized experience.
Well, I guess museums are public spaces, and so the more that you try and tailor it for the very specific local audience that you have around, I think that's can only really be a good thing.
We constantly revise, even a couple months into the exhibition, based on what we were seeing and how people were interacting with the quiz. Removing barriers and perhaps, for example, removing automatic printing of receipts to conserve paper and allow people to decide to do that manually instead. We had to build this in a way that was robust, something that you could leave for 12 months. So this meant a lot of structures around accessibility. We built in things like high contrast mode. But it also meant that we wanted to make sure that we protect things like the data we collect.
There's a lot of misery out there, and these topics are horrible, and we know that more and more fear and anxiety, especially in young people, is coming up. We wanted people to have a moment to think more hopefully, to notice things.
I've been close to nature all my life. I was a cub, I was a scout, as adventure, but you still can learn more. Learn how much of an impact like your little things do to like the rest of the community, especially the little one.
If all someone does leaving the exhibition is notice joyful things and connections more, we have done our job.